Have you ever wanted to make your own delicious, from scratch cupcakes at home? My name is Tia Trimble, and I'm going to be showing you today how you can create your very own tasty, from scratch, absolutely delicious cupcakes in about the same amount of time as it would take to bake from a box. And today, the flavor of choice is churro cupcakes. So I sifted my flour, my salt, my baking soda, also some baking powder into my bowl here. The next thing you want to do is have your room temperature butter in your mixing bowl. To that, you want to add your sugar and let that incorporate really nicely. Now I turned that down just while I was adding the sugar so that I didn't get sugar all over the front of my shirt here or on the countertop. I'm not a girl that likes messes. Now to that bowl, after you've added your butter and your sugar, you want to take some vanilla. Now I use really good vanilla. After that's mixed for a while and incorporated together, you want to add 2 eggs, one at a time, and let them mix in there really nicely. Now as I'm adding this other egg, you may be wondering why it is that I chose churro cupcakes as our flavor of the day. Well, when I think of churros, of course, I think of the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. I worked at Disneyland for a year as a skipper on the Jungle Cruise. That's right, that was me, the one driving the boats, shooting the gun, scaring those hippos away, and of course telling jokes about things like the backside of water, the 8th wonder of the world, of course. So when I think of churros, I think about my special time at Disneyland. Oh, and I just wish that my kitchen could smell like that delicious churro smell. We're going to add the dry ingredients in 3 parts and this wet buttermilk in 2 parts. Your batter is perfect. Ready to be scooped into your cupcake pans and baked. So just to recap, you have your bottom tablespoon of batter, you have a teaspoon of the cinnamon sugar mixture, then you have about 1.5 tablespoons more batter on top. Now to finish that off before you toss it into the oven, of course toss it carefully, you don't want to burn yourself. Just a sprinkle more of that cinnamon sugar mixture on the top of those cupcakes, and they are ready to go into the oven for about 17 minutes, 350 degrees, preheated of course, and your house will smell just like Disneyland. Our cupcakes are all cooled, and now we're ready for the best part, the icing. I've heard some say that the only reason anyone really eats a cupcake is for the icing. Well, this simple icing is no exception. As I mentioned before, it's a simple buttercream made with just powdered sugar, butter, of course, good vanilla, and then just a little bit of milk. You want plenty of this delicious buttercream icing on your cupcake. Of course, when I think of churros at Disneyland, the first thing I think of is that delicious cinnamon smell. But the next thing I think of is butter. I always think of just buttery, cinnamon, sugary deliciousness. And of course, the next thing I think of when I think of churros is that delicious crust of cinnamon and sugar that just completely spans the length of that long tube of yumminess. So right here I have more of our cinnamon sugar mix. I put it into a bigger bowl, and what you're going to do is you're just going to sprinkle that right on top of that buttercream icing. Oh, go. And there is your finished, absolutely fabulous, delicious churro cupcake. Now the only thing better than a $3 Disneyland churro is this delicious, practically free because you made it at home, churro cupcake.